In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a diagonal repeat pattern in Illustrator, and we'll do it a couple of different ways. So the first way is we're going to start with a square, and we're going to do a simple diagonal repeat that uses a 45-degree diagonal. So basically, exactly from corner to corner in this square. So we're going to be using the pen tool, and let's choose a color other than black just to make it a little more fun. How about that color? Okay, so you're going to want to make sure that your guides are turned on, your smart guides rather. So what that'll do is, if you see once I hover over the corner, you'll see that it says intersect there. That tells you basically that you're hovering right over the corner. So when you see that little intersect, you'll go ahead and click one time. Drag your pen tool down to the bottom until you get to the next corner that also says intersect. Click, and then you can simply go to the black arrow tool and click away, or you can do the keyboard shortcut, which is Shift-Command-A, and that will deselect everything. So now you can see, let me zoom out a little, I've got this line, so let's make it a little bit thicker. We'll change the stroke on it. Right now it's just 1 point. And where is my stroke panel? There it is. Okay, so let's make it something more like 10 to make it a little bit thicker. And you'll see in the stroke panel you've got these different choices for the caps in the corners. If you go ahead and choose this projecting cap, that is going to make your line overlap over those corners a little bit. So when you repeat your diagonal line from edge to edge, from top to bottom, you'll know that it's gonna intersect, or it's gonna overlap those corners in the right way, so your repeat will work properly. So what we're going to do is copy, paste in front, and then we'll double click on the black arrow tool, and we're going to move this over to the right horizontally. And so my square is 8 by 8 inches, so we'll move it over to the right 8 inches, vertically 0. Click OK. So now you can see it's intersecting in the top 2 corners, but it's still not intersecting in the bottom. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing, and I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut this time, which is Command-C for copy, Command-F for paste in front. Double click. So now we're going to be going to the left, so that'll be a negative number. Click OK. Okay, so now I've got my line intersecting properly in all 4 corners. So now what I can do is simply take these lines. I'm going to take these 2, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to copy, paste in front, and then I can just use my arrow keys on my keyboard to move these over to wherever I want them to be. Maybe I'll make this line a little bit thicker. Maybe we'll make it 20 points and change this color. And then I can just continue doing that. So I'll just do Command-C for copy, Command-F for paste in front, and just go ahead and move these lines. Maybe we'll make these ones even thicker, maybe like 35, 39. And we'll choose some other color. Okay, so you might be wondering, are these really repeating properly? So one way that you can check is to turn on your rulers, which is the keyboard shortcut for that is Command-R. You can also find that up in the View menu right here. Rulers, hide rulers, and show rulers. And then I like to, just to prove to myself that it's actually working, you can click and hold over here and drag a guide over, and if you drag it to the edge of each diagonal, you'll see that they do match up from top to bottom perfectly. And again, if I drag one down from the top, I'm working on this bluish line, by the way, you can see that again they match up perfectly. So you know that those lines are right where they need to be. If you forget to select, both lines and copy them, let's say I just selected this one and copied, paste in front, and just move this line. And again, I'm just using the arrow keys on my keyboard to move that. Change that color. you can easily just either copy it down or copy it over from the right to the left. So let's do that. So we'll double click. So we'll need to go -8, vertically 0, and copy. And so you'll see now it's copied from top to bottom, right to left. Okay, so let's just fill in this diagonal a bit more. So I'm going to do Command-C, Command-F to paste in front. We'll just move that over, maybe to right there. Let's add in maybe an unexpected color. Okay, let's do Command-C, Command-F. Maybe we'll make a couple of thin lines. So as you can see, I'm just kind of making this up as I go along. And then I'm not totally sure what my repeat will look like when it's done, but Command-C, Command-F, just make a couple of these lines all in a row. Then I can copy all 3 of these, Command-C, Command-F. We'll move these over, change the color. How about something like that? And so then you can either Command-C, Command-F again before you double click on your black arrow tool to move it -8 over to the left and click OK. Or if you forget to copy it and paste it in front first, you can always double click that, move it, and then click this copy button instead of the OK button. We'll cancel that out. Okay, let's just do a couple more here. Command-C, Command-F, just move that. Maybe let's make this one a little bit thicker, 15. Change the color slightly. Let's Command-C, Command-F, and just fill in some of these areas here. And we'll do that one more time, Command-C, Command-F, and using my arrow keys again. And let's make that one a little bit thicker, maybe 25. Okay, and then we've got one little area that I could fill in. So let's do, so see how I'm selecting both of these orange lines because these are the intersecting lines on either side. So if I select both of them at the same time and do Command-C, Command-F, I'm moving them both right to where they need to be on both sides and the top and the bottom of the square. Okay, so that's pretty good. So the next thing that I'm going to do is choose a background color. So let's just do, we'll do kind of just a grayish color. And we'll line it up with the corner and make it 8 by 8, same as the artboard. And then we'll go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. And then we will copy, paste in back, take all the color out of that square. So this is now transparent fill, transparent stroke. Just for good measure, I'm going to make sure that it's all the way in the back, send to back. And then I will select everything, drag it over to the swatches palette, and then I'm going to use my hand tool to just kind of grab my screen and scroll it over. And we'll test it out and see if it works. So let's make a big square. Let's make it, say, 30 by 30 inches. Zoom out a little bit. That's pretty big. And fill it with the pattern we made. And ta-da, you'll see it works. It works just right. So that's how you make a simple 45-degree diagonal. So let's go ahead and delete that. You might be wondering, what if I want to make a diagonal repeat that's at a 30-degree angle or a 50-degree angle or something that's different than a 45-degree, like regular diagonal. So to do that, I am going to go to my artboard, double click this. So instead of working with a square, in this case, you will work with a rectangle. So let's make it, how about 8 inches wide and let's say 5 inches high. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit. So the principles here are exactly the same. So we'll choose some color and go to our pen tool and intersect at the top left and the bottom right. And then I'm going to do Shift Command A to deselect. And let's make this a little bit thicker. Let's make it 15 points. And make sure that my projecting caps are chosen over here in the stroke panel to make sure that my lines go a little bit outside the edges of my corners. Alternatively, you don't have to start at the top left. You can start at the top right. You can start in any corner, really. I just always happen to start creating patterns from the top left just because that's the habit that I've gotten myself into. But you can make your diagonals going the other direction. That's totally fine. So you can already see this is not a 45-degree angle if you're looking at this right triangle here. And if you want to figure out the math of it and figure out what that angle is, I'm sure that you can go back to your high school geometry or trigonometry or whatever it is. I am not going to embarrass myself by trying to figure that out on the fly here, but that is some angle that's other than 45 degrees. So again, you can just do Command C, Command F. We'll move it over to the right first, so that's 8. Click OK. And we'll do the same thing here, but I'll just do it the other way just to show you. So we'll double click, we'll move it negative, and then click copy this time since I didn't copy it beforehand. And then we'll move some of these over to the right. So let's do Command C to copy, Command F to paste in front, and then use my arrow keys to just move those right over. And let's change the color. And we'll make them a little thicker just for fun. So you can see that now these pink lines are intersecting the top and bottom in a little bit of a funny way, like it's not projecting all the way out. So to fix that, I would copy, Command C, paste in front, Command F, and then double click your black arrow tool. And so we're going to move vertically up this time. So horizontal is going to be 0. Vertical, if you want to move something up, it's a negative number, a little bit confusing. So the height of our rectangle is 5. We're not working with 8 anymore since we squished it down to a rectangle. So -5. And you can see that that just completed that line. And then you can do the same thing with this one. Command C, Command F. This time we'll move it down, so that's a positive number. Click OK. And now we've got those completed lines. And what I would do next, just to make sure that those stick together, is just select both of them and group them. So Object Group, the keyboard shortcut for that is Command G. So we'll do that on these two as well, Command G. So now when you click on that, it'll select everything rather than having it be 2 pieces. And so let's just fill this in with some more lines. So we'll do copy, paste in front. We'll just go ahead and move those over. Change the color. We'll just choose something from over here. Command C, Command F. Let's make this one thinner. Let's do 10. There we go. Change that color. Command C, Command F, and use my keyboard arrow keys to just Command C, Command F to just make some copies of those lines. Okay, and now that I'm looking at this, I'm noticing that these pink ones on the corners are actually not overlapping in quite the right way either. So what I'm going to do is copy this middle pink line, Command C, Command F, and I'm going to double click my black arrow tool, move that horizontally 0, -5, which will move it up, and that completed that line. And then I'll Command G, group those together, and I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to Command C, Command F to copy and paste it in front, double click. Now we'll move it down, which is a positive number. Okay, and Command G to group those together. Okay, now we're in good shape. Okay, so let's make a few more lines. So let's work on this one here. So I'm going to Command C, Command F, move this here. Let's change the color, and let's make this a really wide one, 40. Okay, so you'll see I only copied that one, so now I'm going to need to go ahead and copy this from the left to the right because there's no matching gray line over there. So double click. So now we're back to moving it horizontally, so that'll be 8, positive numbers moving it to the right. Vertical will be 0. Oops, and I forgot to copy, so I'm going to undo that, Command Z. Let's try that again. So we'll move it 8 to the right, vertical, and then we'll click copy instead of OK. There we go. And you'll see that funny thing is happening again. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this line up. So that'll be back to the -5. Copy. And we'll group these two together. It might be a little tricky to grab both of those. And Command G. Okay, so let's make a few more of these lines here. So select all those kind of aqua lines. Command C, Command F. There we go. Let's change that color to, how about that? Okay, and then let's do Command C, Command F. We'll just add one more line here. We'll leave it that pink. And then we need to copy it over, oops, over 8, vertical 0, copy. And we need to fix that one line up here that's not intersecting quite right. So we'll copy this one. Up -5 to move it up and copy. And Command G to group those two. Okay, and that looks pretty good. So now we'll pick a background color. Let's make it some kind of very light pink. How about? Go to our rectangle tool and we'll make our background rectangle, which is 8 inches wide, 5 inches tall, and send that to the back. Object arrange, send to back. Okay, and then we'll copy. Paste in back this time. That means you're making an exact copy of that rectangle immediately behind it. And we'll take all the color out of that one to make our magic square that will make our patterns work. And then just for good measure, make sure it's all the way in the back by going to Object, Send to Back again. Arrange, Send to Back. And we'll select everything. And I'll do it rather than dragging the swatch over this time. I'll show you this other way, which many of you probably already know. If you go to Object, Pattern, Make, this will actually make your swatch for you, and it does this funny, like, weird overlapping thing. But if you just go up here and click Done, it'll go back to your original, and you'll see your swatch shows up in the Swatches palette. So let's grab our hand again to move our screen over, and we'll make a square. And we'll fill that square with our diagonal. You'll see it works just right. So now we've got our 45 and our 30 or whatever that is. So that is how you make a diagonal repeat. And if you want a more dramatic diagonal, you could just make the height of your rectangle shorter. You could do 8 inches by 3 inches or 10 inches by 2 inches or whatever. There's no rule there, but every different rectangle shape will make a different shaped or a differently angled diagonal. You can also make the width of your rectangle shorter than your height, and that will make your diagonal angled in the opposite direction. So just a fun thing to play with. I hope this is useful. I know there are lots of questions about diagonal repeats, so I hope that this clears up some of the mystery.